The Bike Karma Bicycle Stories podcast is brought to you with support from the Frame and Wheel, helping you turn your cycling items into cash without the hassle. And AD Bikes, the modern face of Austro Daimler bicycles. Become bike, become AD.
It's a bright sunny day and you're listening to episode 76.
Hi there, welcome to episode 76 of the Bike Karma Bicycle and Cycling Stories podcast. I'm your host, Tom Brown. Some people find their niches in cooking, art, pottery, fishing, and all of that's good. But you're here because you smile about bicycles sometimes. It doesn't matter what type of cycling you're into, whether it's mountain bike, road, gravel, BMX, lowriders, rat rods, bicycle polo. Maybe you don't ride anything after 1942. Maybe you like wrenching better than riding. Maybe you like collecting better than wrenching. It doesn't matter if you're a novice or an expert. If you've ever smiled about a bike, then you're in the right place. Here we are at the beach together today, courtesy of some well-chosen sound effects, to share some stories and make some connections with other human beings who also love bikes. Today, we talk about the rituals of cycling. We'll also talk about the Gary Fisher Grateful Dead mountain bike collaboration, and I'll tell you about that time that Jesus let me borrow a bike. You have a ton of different podcasts that you could be listening to right now, and I am thrilled that you're coming along with me for a ride on mine. Let's roll out. You know, the mission of the show is to bring people together who like any type of bicycle. We're always looking for things that connect us as cyclists, not things that divide us. There's enough dividing us going on in other places. So it doesn't matter if you mountain bike, if you do BMX, if you're a roadie, if you're a tourer. Part of being a human cyclist is having some type of ritual. Maybe yours are small and you don't even call them rituals. Or maybe like me, you go back and forth. If a ritual's sparking joy, then that's a good thing. But if it's not, maybe you make a break with it. For better or worse, whether you love them or hate them, there are a lot of rituals in cycling. I might as well mention this right now is doing the ABC quick check before you ride would be a great ritual. It's a way of checking your air, brakes, chain line, quick releases or through axles. Make sure your bike's all together. Make sure everything's in working order before you go barreling down a hill. Okay, PSA is done. Check. Okay, that was cheeky of me to put that in there, but it's done. All right, back on topic. So think about your own cycling rituals. Do you have certain places that you like to go? Do you have a certain kit that you like to wear with a certain bike? Do you have a training regime that's become ritualized? Do you have other people involved with your cycling rituals? Now, while you think of all that, you can actually participate in Mark Hoffman, my friend's ritual, which is a monthly ride up a mountain. He's been doing this every month for 20 years. So in terms of the audio, you're going to hear us on the road riding, and you're going to feel like you're there with us riding through New Britain and going towards Meriden and eventually up Meriden Mountain. I hope you enjoy thinking about your own cycling rituals as you come up the mountain with Mark. This segment's going to be about rituals in cycling. This is a ritual for you. So what's the ritual, Mark?
I just try to ride up Meriden Mountain once every month. And I started it accidentally in January of 2005. And I said, I've never been up here in January before. That's pretty cool. And then February came along and, maybe I'll ride up there again. And then March came along, April came along. And it's just, I go, I wonder how long I can keep this up. And so I've kept it up for almost 20 years, so it's kind of cool. It's not a big feat physically, but it's just something that, it's a tradition, and I try to maintain the tradition by doing it every month, so it's a way to gauge my fitness level, such as it is.
What do you think of the way he just kind of started doing this? It's like
I support his efforts to do it, and we usually, like the 100th ride and the 200th ride, we have a little picnic and gathering here. It usually turns into a large group ride of people that want to accompany on these centennial of sorts, so I support it. I'm a fair weather rider.
Could be worse things to be addicted to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's head out. So we're setting out from the heart of New Britain, taking off from his house. Do you go the same route every time?
Well, most of the time. And most of the time I do it alone. Probably because I kind of try to jump on the first nice day of the month that comes along. That way I kind of pad myself against any catastrophes that might occur later in the month, you know.
Well, this is the 1st of July, right?
Yeah.
And it's also your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. And so we're up to over 200 times that you've done this.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
This should be 235. Now, there's a caveat there, though. I wrecked my shoulder both sides 2 separate times, and so during that period, I walked up, which actually is
you
hard
still did that, yeah?
because you got to walk down, you know. So, but we did, you know. Even in the winter, one time Bruce and I did it. We had our snowshoes with us, but we didn't need them, so it wasn't too bad. Although there was one march that was particularly hard. It would take 3 attempts to get to the tower because the snow was so deep on the left-hand leg after the fork that I couldn't turn my cranks. It was just too deep to turn. So,
for somebody who's never, not from around here, not seen Castle Craig or anything like that, so basically there's a flat central part to Connecticut, and then as you get on either side of it, the hills start to get more intense. On this side, on the western side of the river, we got huge hills going up into the Litchfield area and going Waterbury and everything like that. So we've got this hill in Meriden, which is just kind of like in the southwest central Connecticut, and then there's a park in the middle of it, and at the top of the park is like this famous monument.
yeah, Castle Craig is like this stone turret, you know. I mean, it's real medieval looking, you know, and it's actually, you can go into the tower and during the good weather, during the off months like November through April, say, they keep the gate to the tower itself locked, and in fact they don't allow car traffic then. We'll probably encounter car traffic today, but you know, you have to kind of just dodge that as best you can. In the winter months, they don't allow cars to go up there, which is a great time to ride, and a lot of mountain bikers up there because there are mountain bike trails descending from the top of that on the other side of the road. So that's a popular mountain biking place.
Do you know any of the stats about how big the climb is and the grade and all that stuff?
Yeah, not exactly off the top of my head, but it's usually like, I think it's like a 900 feet climb or something. I don't know. It's something like that.
Okay. I just remember one of the first group rides I took was up there. On the way down, they showed this really steep curve as you go down the bottom, and there was a memorial right there where somebody had lost their lives too.
Actually, there have been 2 deaths at the bottom of the hill where it says dangerous curves ahead.
So you got to keep those brakes feathered all the way down.
My hand, I have a blister I think I've developed from braking going down the hill. I don't go as fast as I used to, and the road surface has been deteriorating slowly, so you really got to pick your line well going down, otherwise you could find something that you don't like. So.
All right. Well, that's why I grabbed the slightly wider tires today. We're going to go full road. So, all right, let's head out. So you said sometimes you do this by yourself and sometimes you do it with groups of friends.
I would say most of the time I do it by myself, simply because it's such a spur of the moment idea usually, you know. But, you know, I mean, it's good to do it with friends too, but I think I like riding alone quite a bit because the pace is all my own. I don't have to worry about keeping up with somebody or holding somebody back or any of that kind of stuff. And So sometimes it's good to have like a free-form agenda when you ride, not have it planned so much. I think helps with your spontaneity level, I guess.
Are there some times where you think about it and you think to yourself, I don't want to do it this month?
No, I've never had I don't want to do it. Aside from the surgeries, I've always looked forward to doing it in a way. But yeah, no, I mean, everybody I think would like a vacation from responsibility and scheduling and stuff, but my life is scheduled but not scheduled, so there's enough freedom so I don't go totally berserk, I guess.
While we're riding, we're mostly both quiet. Not morosely quiet, but every once in a while, Mark would point out things or talk about a certain area that we were riding by. We got to a place where one of our mutual friends wiped out just a couple days before.
And Bruce hit the torrent during a 6-inch rainstorm, and he just couldn't see anymore going through that intersection and crashed into the thicket. I guess he laid the bike down. He had no brakes, he said.
He's okay, though.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, good.
I like this route to get there because this is a nice warm-up hill. It's not too strenuous. Get your blood flowing, get your legs in shape. So it's about 10 miles to the base of the Meriden Mountain, so it's a nice warm-up ride. I actually need that much warming up these days.
And how would you describe this compared to the actual slope once we get there?
Oh, it's a lot easier.
And so we rode on through the perfect weather, me occasionally asking questions, trying to hold my recorder while biking, and Mark pointing to some of the landmarks as if they were old friends.
Towers that you can see up there on the right, that's on the right side. That's actually West Peak. The tower is actually on what they call East Peak. The radio tower side is slightly higher. It's the highest point within so many miles of the coast on the East Coast.
Wow.
Okay, hang on to this.
Okay, we're going down a pretty steep descent here. This is the payback for the little Hinter hills that we went up. So now we're into the park in Meriden, and we're at the very, very base of climbing up the mountain. Can't even see the castle from here.
Yeah, it's so weird because this is, the height of summer. If you do it all, through the year, you get to see the seasonal transitions, and your views change too because all these leaves go away. And sometimes, I'll come down and then I'll go through Hubbard Park because there's some really nice vistas of the tower from that angle. But mostly I'm happy just getting home.
Yeah. So what's your mindset as you start to head up? You fuel up before you go up. This is like a part of the ritual, it seems.
Yeah, I usually take a little bit of a breather here. I have asthma, so I usually have to do an albuterol inhalation, and just to try to get your thing going. At this point, it's almost mindless going up, the biggest thing you have to worry about is car traffic, really.
Yeah.
And it's not too bad. And it usually comes in waves. Yeah. Because somebody's going slower than somebody wants them to go, so that kind of thing. And, being on a Monday, it won't be too crowded, I don't think, so.
All right. Well, it's beautiful. Got a few white puffy clouds in the sky, beautiful blue, looking down on the water. We got some snapping turtles over here. Yeah. All right, let's head on up.
Okay.
At this point, we started to climb the actual mountain part of the ride.
some of the neatest things, like when some of the turkey vultures are flying below you and you're above them still, and that kind of stuff. A group of Peruvian people dressed in full Peruvian regalia doing some kind of ceremonial thing at the top of the mountain. I mean, it was very nice to look at too and everything.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll show you a picture later. I took some pictures of them because, okay, this is the start. So, and actually, this little grunt here is probably one of the steeper areas. You gotta watch out for the car.
We're up a 1.5 car wide, fairly steep little section. Curves to the left and curves to the right. Pretty much in my easiest gear right now. So we're not even up to Dead Man's Curve yet.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time going as slow as me.
I don't think so. we both in our easiest gears.
Well, the thing is, it's like my whole philosophy about bike riding is enjoy it for as long as you can. I go on group rides where people trying to see how fast they can go. Why do you want it to be over so fast? It's like making love, man. Car back. Go ahead.
So do you feel like, having rid up it so many times, that you've left an impression on this mountain?
I don't know about that. Certainly left an impression on me. I don't know. I used to live right at the bottom of it in the 70s, so I was up here frequently, but I didn't make any kind of habit about it or anything. The fact that I rode up in January was really the inspiration to see if I could do it again. And I'm glad I did it in January. I think it may not have transpired the way it did if I didn't.
I am very grateful for my grinding gear.
I learned about exhaling harder than you need.
Never heard of that. What's that?
I think it just empties your lungs out so that when you do take a breath, you're getting more oxygen. Maybe it just takes your mind off everything. Get out of the anaerobic zone.
It's not Mount Washington or anything like that, but it's quite the workout.
Yeah, it's definitely not Mount Washington. I did that 1.5 times back in the days when you could ride up almost any time of the year, but I was in the race and I was lucky to finish. Those are toe clip days. You didn't want your rear wheel to spin out underneath you if you're on that hill. Really hard getting back in the toe clips. Yeah, this is a nice little respite spot. Although most of the time I don't rest too much here.
So there's a fork in the road, and one way says towards the radio tower, the other way says towards the castle. So we are going with most of the traffic towards the castle.
Yeah, just when you think all the climbing was over, you got a nice little downhill and then another little uphill. But it's not too bad. It's over quickly.
We got our first glimpse of the castle. It's like a turret right at the top of the hill, going through the parking lot for the people who drove up.
Well, I guess we couldn't have picked a better thing.
Congratulations, Mark. Time number 235.
Yep.
Well, congratulations. Whew. in the southwest middle of Connecticut, and I suspect I can almost see Long Island Sound. I can see Long Island. It's the furthest little foggy bumps in the distance. Whew. All right, thoughts, impressions.
I'm glad we came up today because the visibility, I can't say that I've ever seen it any better than this. Plus the clouds are quite picturesque, but you can see Long Island from here.
Those little bumpies off way.
Well, you see the stack and the little buildings and the notch there.
Yep.
That's New Haven.
Okay. Yep.
So across there is Long Island, but it just, you can see it. You don't always see it. Today it's just exceptionally clear. Good view of the Sleeping Giant over there, Mount Lamentation. I forget what those. And I don't know. I'm not really good at the names of the local mountains, but these are all part of these trap rock ridges that run in this area. Some companies have made fortunes over it.
It's hard not to get philosophical on top of the mountain, and that's exactly what we did. We took a breath and looked at the amazing view and just peacefully talked.
It's a testament to building methods and stuff that this thing has just withstood weather and years of. They do a fireworks from here. In fact, one year I came up, I couldn't get all the way to the tower because they were setting the fireworks up in the parking lot, and so they wouldn't let them. Hello. Hello. Remember I told you?
Yep.
Interesting that it would sort of duplicate itself. Although the other group was much larger and in much bigger regalia. I wonder about people that are brought up in a super mountainous country, and their perspective on the world as opposed to the flatlanders,
I mean, we live on a hill, but it's wonderful. I mean, we love our view from our deck, but it's like, compared to this is very different. It's not quite a 360, but you gotta.
Well, if you go up in the tower, you'll get it.
You get a 360, yeah.
I go up there or not, but my wife's always terrified going up on the metal staircase inside the place. I find it pretty safe, actually. I'm not a big heights person either. This one. See those two towers out there?
Yeah.
I always wondered where those are exactly. Because those are the ones you can see if you're driving up Route 9 toward Middletown. You see these out in the distance. Yeah. I've always wanted to go on a quest on my bike to find there. Probably couldn't get to them, I guess, but it's always seems like the citadel that I would like to find out where it is exactly. Now we have to work out our hands going down, squeezing brake levers.
Well, you've done this 235 times. Gets you out of bed in the morning, gives you something to shoot for. Would you have rid just anywhere? Like if it was just a random ride and you had to go on a random ride once a month, would it feel the same or would it feel different?
Well, I go on a lot of random rides, so I don't know if you could really quantify that or anything like that. But no, this has a specific purpose, a specific route, and and again, it does go into the realm of a personal ritual, I guess. I'm not an organized religious person anymore, but I think humans have a need for certain rituals and stuff like that, and I think it passes down. Some rituals pass down into and become traditions and stuff like that. They're talking about a larger scope of things, like some indigenous people's rituals and things along those lines. But in today's digital, fast-paced age, things are so much different. And so I feel fortunate to have been born when I was born because I got to see the transition from the industrial age to the electronic age and digital age. Not that I'm necessarily happy where we ended up, and I see the pluses of it, but it's nice to be able to have the context to look at things in that respect, and it's unfortunate that younger people really don't have those concepts, and and I suppose we didn't either. And we had these vague notions of what the 20s and 30s were like. The picture we painted in our heads is what people painted for us. So when you live through an era and experience it a little more on a day-to-day basis, you really get much more of a flavor of what's going on. And,
the rituals, as long as they don't hurt anybody, I think they scratch a very specific itch that people have, And then sometimes you got to break with the rituals temporarily here and there.
Well, I guess you don't want to let rituals turn into a rut.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I mean, even my morning ritual of drinking apple cider vinegar, making coffee and drinking the coffee, taking all my medications and doing the crossword puzzle that I print off the computer now. I mean, that's, but some days it's better off getting up earlier and going out fishing or something,
I hung a bell up for the end of the workday. And so when you're done with the end of your workday and you're ready for the other person to come down, especially now that the kids we're empty nesters now, you just ring this bell and it signals the other person that you're ready to go have cocktails on the deck or just end the workday. And then the other person kind of responds. We should probably have 2 bells.
I think they do that in Buddhist temples, don't they? I mean,
all right. Well, thanks for sharing your ritual with me, Mark.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm glad we finally made a ride up here together.
Mark's involved with all kinds of cycling and music things in Connecticut. You can usually find him at the Bike New Britain Bike Shop, community bike shop in New Britain, Connecticut. Thanks, Mark. And now it's time for the mid-roll gratitudes, where we give thanks to anybody. First and foremost, thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you have a comment or story ideas, or you'd like some free stickers to responsibly place anywhere all over the world, we send them for free. As long as you promise not to make a nuisance of yourself with them, you can contact me at bikekarmaguy@gmail.com. That's bikekarmaguy@gmail.com, and I will send you a pack of stickers. So thank you everybody who's asked for stickers over the last couple of months. I have a system. It's not perfect. If you asked for stickers and you didn't get them, just hit me up again. Send me a message and let me know that they didn't get to you. If you're a shop and you would like a special pack, I can send you more to give out and also a bigger display sticker to put on the window or the counter if you like. I'd also like to thank everybody who's left a nice review. So this includes G Poly 1, BMW Rhine T, and Roca AZ. Thank you so much for leaving a nice review on Apple Media. Also want to thank the Peddling Pensioner for a nice review. I'd like to thank all the people who've been helping out by sending in story snippets, little voice memos and stuff like that. Paul D, thank you very much. And all the other people like Sue and Rob, thank you very much. Currently looking for anybody who has a story and memory about Sheldon Brown the man or Sheldon Brown's website about bicycles. If you have a memory about that, you can send me a voicemail via email, via DM on any of the social media, or you can call 860-740-2813 and leave a voicemail just talking about, have you used Sheldon Brown's website at all? He's a legend in the bicycle world, and I'd like to do a story on it. Thanks for everybody who's waiting for their story in the queue. I appreciate your patience. Following or hitting like or leaving a positive comment on any of the social medias or any of the platforms that you listen to the show on. We're on everything from YouTube to Podbean to Spotify to Apple, anywhere basically that you could listen to a podcast, we should be on there. So thank you very much for giving a little plus, a thumbs up, a heart. Thank you to John Wood, Steve, and Patrick for following on Podbean. That's our main hosting site. All those little things really help. The more activity we've got, the more the evil algorithms start to notice us and might share. When somebody asks, hey, I'm looking for a podcast that's story-based about bicycles. So thank you for helping me with that grassroots growth. It's a no-cost way of really helping the show. If you want to take that a slight step farther, you can join my small but awesome group of Patreons over at patreon.com. Just search up Bike Karma. And for as little as $1 a month, you can cancel any time. You can help me with the cost associated with the show. So thanks again to my small but awesome group of Patreons. Do you ever wish you had a friend who owned a bicycle brand? Well, you're like one email or phone call away from that. Longtime show supporter Fred Thomas owns AD Bikes. He took the brand that he used to race on back in the day, and he saw that it was no longer in production, and he bought the name and the logo, and he started making bikes again. He owns another business which works really well with that, which is called The Frame and Wheel, where he sells used bicycle parts so you don't have to deal with people online. And if you put both of those together, you see how Fred has pretty much closed the circle in terms of making a complete and sustainable way to get rid of your old stuff and to get the new stuff that you want. So let's say that you have a bunch of bicycle stuff sitting around, takeoffs. Those are things where you took it off your bike and they're not really used, but they're not really what you wanted, and you got the stuff that you wanted and put it onto your bike. Well, your takeoffs might be what somebody else is dreaming of. The problem is getting it out there. Where do you connect with these people? Well, you connect with them at the Frame and Wheel. Contact Fred, he'll get that stuff posted, he'll take pictures of it, he'll worry about the shipping, he'll worry about what to price it at, he'll worry about the descriptions and people dealing with returns and stuff like that. He'll deal with all of that. Of course, he takes his cut, but he also takes all of the worries that you'd have about dealing with this. And you can take the proceeds of that and do whatever you want with it. Just wait for him to send you the check of your part. Or you could apply those funds to a brand new AD bike. Let's say that you have very specific things that you're looking for, possibly things that are hard to find. Well, maybe he even has those on the Frame and Wheel store. So you can talk to him and he can individually work with you to try and put a bike together that'd be perfect for you. So whether you need more time, space, and cash and to get rid of those old bike parts, accessories, and things, maybe even a whole bike that you don't need anymore, or if you're looking to get the bike of your dreams, contact Fred Thomas at the Frame and Wheel or AD Bikes. Thanks for being a supporter, Fred. Now back to the show. There are a lot of crossovers with bicycles, and some of it's just advertising, like a soda brand or a beer brand. Once I even saw a cigarette company that was giving out a folding bike. I think it was Marlboro. You had to smoke so many packs to be able to get one. There's some where they put the names of different cars onto bikes so that people could go to car shows and have a bike that has a name stamped on it. A lot of the time, they're pretty corporate and kind of ho-hum. But every now and then you find one that has some passion behind it, like an actual connection. And this year we found such a bike at the Wethersfield Bicycle Show, and it struck such a chord with the judges that it won first place. So here's the story of an award-winning crossover bike that found a connection between Gary Fisher of mountain biking fame and the Grateful Dead.
Hi, my name is Dave Patterson. I am originally from New Jersey, and I'm here at the Wethersfield Bike Festival.
You're the first place winning bike this year, which is the Grateful Dead Special Edition Gary Fisher. Yep. And you were telling us about it. I didn't hit record, and you're nice enough to re-say the story for us. So
a lot of people don't know that Gary Fisher started out as a lighting technician for the Grateful Dead in the Haight-Ashbury days. And then later on, when the mountain bike boom started in Northern California, he got into mountain bikes. Well, in 1995, he commissioned Prairie Prince, who did all the artwork for the Grateful Dead. He got him to do a limited edition run Hukui Ku bike with all the Grateful Dead artwork on it. At the time, I was in my early 20s. I couldn't afford to buy one of these because they were kind of expensive in the bike shops, but I always regret not getting one. So later on, when I was able to find one, it took me about 8 years to find one. I found one that was in good enough shape to restore, and went a little crazy with the colors on it, but I'm super stoked on it, and a lot of people dig it.
How'd you find it?
I actually found it on a Craigslist in Oregon when I lived there, and had to drive 3 hours to meet the guy to go get it. It's in the middle of nowhere and out in the desert. He had it sitting in his barn.
So this one's NFS, right?
Yeah.
Or would you sell it? What price would you let it go for?
I would let it go to someone who not only appreciates old vintage mountain bikes, but that was also a really big Grateful Dead fan that would appreciate it. I'd probably have to $1,200 or more to part with it.
Mm-hmm. It's a very special bike. Like, honestly, I've not seen another one like with this one. What do the kids say? Drip? It's got drip. It's got drip. Yeah.
Dread and drip.
Dread and drip. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So here I am in Tucson, down here to celebrate Waverly's graduation. And I wanted to sneak a bike ride in, and I was able to this morning. And I met this guy. His name is Jesus.
Yeah.
And he's really nice. And he let me borrow a bike, and he runs a bike shop.
Yeah, so we are Ride Tucson e-bike and bike shop. We're located in Tucson, Arizona. And Tucson has a great cycling community, and our shop is located our parking lot is connected to the famous Huckleberry Loop, which is more than 150 miles worth of share use path. So you can ride your bike for more than 150 miles at a lot of different places in the city. So yeah, Tucson is great for riding.
I try and sneak in a ride every time I come here, even though it's not usually about me vacationing when I'm here. I usually visit people. But man, the loop is world class. I mean, it really is. I thought it was like 60 miles that goes around. It's much more. You got options of gravel.
Yep.
Everywhere. You can do a gravel for a little bit, and then you're back onto a trail, and it's all protected from traffic. It's amazing.
Exactly. It's a safe way to get around town, especially if you're on vacation and you like cycling. The loop is one of the best features we have in the city. The loop is 55 miles and have 4 extensions connected to that loop, which converted in more than 150. It's great. Everybody that likes riding bikes, you need to come to Tucson and enjoy the ride here at Tucson. At the loop.
Yeah, the scenery in the background, the mountains,
yep.
Cactuses, it is not boring at all. It's like,
yeah,
it is interesting things to see all around. Sculptures, there's sculptures all around the loop as well. There's art installations.
There's art, mountains, cactus, a little dirt trails, so you can grab your gravel bike, your mountain bike, your
prairie
road
dogs.
bike. Yeah,
road runners, all kinds of birds,
rattlesnakes once in a while. So it's great. Stop by Tucson and ride your bike.
All right, thank you. And so you rent and sell electric bikes and regular bikes?
The shop name is Ride Tucson. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and all the platforms. Our website it's ridetucsonaz.com, and we do e-bike rental, regular bike rental, mountain bike rentals. And as I mentioned before, our shop is connected to the loop, so you rent a bike from us. And you don't have to take any major streets. You just go inside the loop and ride. Yeah, it's right out there. We sell bikes. We sell electric bikes. We repair all kind of e-bikes and regular bikes. So we're a full shop here in Tucson, Arizona.
All right. Thank you very much, Jesus.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming along with me on another ride of the Bike Karma Bicycle and Cycling Stories podcast. I'd like to thank Keller Glass and his band Mobjack for the opening and closing theme music. As always, you can go check him out and some of his very excellent work. Just search up Keller Glass Music. The rest of the music used on the show is royalty and attribution free, but we appreciate those musicians as well, so thank you very much for helping to bring those stories to life. If you have any feedback on this episode, including ideas for future stories, maybe you want some stickers to responsibly place, which I send free all over the world, or maybe you have a product or business that might be a good fit for the show to advertise. For all of those things, you can contact me at bikekarmaguy@gmail.com. That's bikekarmaguy@gmail.com. The Bike Karma Bicycle and Cycling Stories podcast is the intellectual property of Thomas Brown. All rights, including copyrights, trademarks, etc., are asserted and reserved. I have over a dozen stories right now in the queue, which I am working on editing and producing, putting a little bit of love inside each production. I'm trying my best to get one per month out, so one episode per month out. So if you haven't already checked out the back catalog, please do so. There's some really great stories that are kind of timeless. Everything from making your own frames, making your own bike tools, riding Leadville. That's a big mountain bike race. Riding across country with a brand new heart to thank the parents of the person whose heart you got donated. There's a bunch of stories and skits from all over the world, and if you haven't checked them out, please give them a try. Well, that's all for now. Remember to do those ABC quick checks before you ride. It only takes a minute to safely check your bike before you set out. And until next time, keep it wheel.